All right, so what's up, everyone? We just got finished playing a lot of Bridget today. This character is a lot of fun, and I just want to get my first impressions on this character system. Day one impressions. How do I feel about this character? Talk about, a few of the things, some strength and some weaknesses about this character, and just go over some of their basic game plans and stuff like that. But before we begin, just addressing it here because I dealt with a lot with it in the Twitch comments earlier today. So Bridget has officially transitioned, so it's no longer he. We're going to be using the she pronouns for this video. Just letting you know, so there shouldn't be any discourse inside the YouTube comments. Let's go and get started talking about Bridget. So a lot of you may be wondering exactly what type of character is Bridget. Well, Bridget is going to be a all-around character like the game stated. This is going to be a balanced character. They have a lot of tools that just scream balance. They have projectiles like this. They have an actual meteorless DP. They have really good, mobility options, stuff like that. They just have a little bit of everything, right? So just because of that, they are going to be a character that's pretty balanced and is going to have some pretty good things as the things they can do. They got a little bit of set play on them as well. They can do a little bit of set play, and they got some, like I said, pretty decent projectiles. The DP definitely helps out, and all the good mobility options and stuff that we're going to talk about in just a second. So briefly talk about Bridget's normals for a little bit. A lot of the normals are actually going to be utilizing the actual yo-yo, and for the most part, a lot of these are not as disjointed as you would think. Some of these have like small disjoints on it, like the 2S does and the 5H does, but there's a lot of hitbox there. So it's like the yo-yos themselves, like the actual sort of yo-yo part, not the string, like has like a disjoint on it. Once you get to the string, that's all stuff you get hit. So if you got something that could go inside the strings, a lot of this actually is not as disjointed as a lot of us thought it would have been, right? So it's very much like an Axel situation as far as like how some of this stuff works for Bridget. They got some pretty decent normals though, like this far slash, this 2S, this heavy slash, and the far slash and heavy slash got follow-up, so you could do that and then that. So they both got like a follow-up, and in the corner they give you like a little wall bounce where you can follow up as well. They also got some pretty good, like, sort of, I want to say neutral skip things as well. So you could do something like this, especially when you got meter, because this move sort of goes in really far. So you can just press the button, and when you press it, it just sort of goes a certain distance. You could hold it backwards and it goes like nowhere, but if you hold it forward, she goes really far. So it goes like almost full screen, and you can just let it rip, right? So you can do this follow, especially when you got meter. This is a fast way to get in, right? So a very, very strong tool just to like sort of skip that neutral situation and just go through, especially if a character don't got a fireball. You just sort of zip in very, very fast. A lot of people just not expecting that right now, especially since this character has some pretty big buttons, considering the range that some of the stuff can cover. So yeah, that's something that you could definitely do. The character does have a command grab too, which also helps with that, all around feel. It is on the slower side. I believe it's like 26 frames, so it's not the best command grab. It do get a hard knockdown. It's one of the few tools that this character actually does have that actually gives a hard knockdown, which is one of the things we're going to talk about a little bit later when we go over the strengths and weaknesses of this character. So this is one of the few tools that actually do have that hard knockdown on it for her. Bridget's air button's also pretty decent as well. The JP is going to be this nice air to ground attack, so you see that right there. JK got a little bit of a backwards hitbox to it, so you actually can hit people from the opposite side on this. And the JM, this one right here, is going to be double hitting as well. The JD is also going to have multi-hit, so all the hits of this is going to be overhead. So all 3 hits of this are overhead, and yeah, this is definitely catching people off guard. And of course you got the JH as well. This is very good for, like, you're jumping back, trying to catch somebody, trying to insert as a U. It also has a pretty nice disjointed on it as well, so you can sort of space it out like this distance and actually, like, catch somebody trying to do something, or if they 6P, you'll just go right through it and you'll be pretty safe from that distance. So it's not a bad approach to it at all as well. And it also do hit crouchers pretty well. It can hit crouchers, especially in some combos, like if you're using it from like the yo-yo, especially, you can actually hit with this, and because of the actual height it actually gets, is a little deceptive, but it actually does hit, which is very surprising. Now the big gimmick for Bridget is obviously going to be the yo-yo toss, right? So there's 2 different sets. There's the 236 series, which actually has the hit going forward, and then there is the 214 series, which is going to go to hit coming back. So you can see it went through and then it comes back, and that's when the hit is actually going to be applied. So basically, I want to say, think of them like in different ways, right? So I would say, think of this as the setup one, right? So when you knock someone down, you'll do the 214 series. But when you are playing the neutral, it's probably best to go for the one that has the active hitbox, right? So it'll probably take it to where you can't use it for a while, but this allows you to put something on the screen, stop your opponent from approaching in a way, and you could use it to have some tricky movement across the screen because of the movement options that we're finally about to talk about for Bridget, which is going to be using the 214K series off of this, right? So once you actually apply this, there's a couple things you could do. One, you can hold it and just charge it to where it actually stays out much longer before they go. You can sort of use your options, your air options, so you could backdash it like this. You can backdash to bait out something, or you could jump cancel it like this. You can do all types of things. You can even like do this and then like do it again, as you see right there. So I did the attack, I did it 214K, I hit him, and then I did it again, right? So you can do double overhead. It's really crazy, like the things you could do. Like you do double overheads off of it. And this is how you're going to get some of the mix-ups that Bridget is going to be able to do, simply by doing stuff like that. And this is going to also set up some of their loopable set play that they could do, just showcasing a little bit of that. It gets pretty crazy. So I got like sort of recording here. They're going to go low right there. So look, they're going to go for overhead. They go low. And then this time they go for overhead. And you see this constantly loops, right? So the one thing about it is it's sort of like Millier, right? It's not the most damaging thing, as you see. It's not doing that much damage. One thing about Bridget as well is they don't have a lot of life. They have the third, I believe, the third lowest life in the game, and they have 0 guts, which means they take a lot of damage, right? So it's just how most of the female characters are in this game. They just don't have a lot of life outside of, I guess, May got some guts because she's Japanese. But yeah, you get the picture. So yeah, Bridget just doesn't have a lot of life, on top of having probably some of, I want to say, below average damage when it comes to the majority of the confirms that you're going to be getting with Bridget. So when you're playing this character, just keep that in mind, that the majority of your like straight hits or the hits you're going to be getting are probably going to be below average damage in compared to Strive, and they're also going to have low health. That's just one of the things with Bridget as well. So while you're using the yo-yo to try to put it on the screen to try to stop your opponent from approaching, you could also just use it for a variety of movement options, right? So say if I just want to put it up here just to have that, I can zip to it at any time, right? As long as it has that set period that is still there, you can sort of use that to either get out of a situation or just make it to where you like sort of just zip across the screen in a different way, approach your opponent in a different way. And don't forget, you can also just use different options off of it, right? So I don't have to do that. I can stop it immediately if I want, just like that, by pressing a button. You can stop it. So they think you're going to come, they try to press an anti-air or something, they try to 6p you, and then you're way over there, bam, that hits them from behind, and you could probably pick it up because it pulls them towards you. There's so many different ways you can manipulate your movement when they have the yo-yo out, right? So there's so many different ways that you can sort of do this and sort of just try to get something going on, start your gameplay and get the knockdown, and then start mixing them as hard as you can. Now, some of the other things with this character, they do have a few supers. Now, the supers for Bridget are also not going to be invul, so they don't have a frame 1 invul super. So this is the first one. This one is a multi-hitting super with the actual slam. Fun fact, you actually can RC this if you want. So if you just want to spin 100 meter, the attack will still come out. So you can actually use this in some block strings. Like if you do this off close slash, this is actually a true block string on block, and you can RC it and go for like a mix up or something like that. You know, it's not frame 1, so it's not something you're going to be doing, I want to say, on block usually a lot when you're like, or on knockdown for yourself. You're not going to really be using a lot of it like that. However, just something, you know, that it does have the full animation that comes out when you do it, even on, like, you know, your fastest RCs. I just thought it was pretty cool information that you probably should know. The other super right here is the super I thought was going to be very much like Septum from actually Millier, right? So, you know, Millier has the Septum attack. I think this does less damage than Septum. It's a 75, and it also just doesn't have like the properties of Septum. So like Septum is very easy to like follow up on. This move, I don't really know if you can follow up on. I honestly don't know. I've been trying to talk with other people, and a lot of people just haven't figured out very good utility usage for this super yet. Like I said, it is day 1, so these are first impressions. Things can obviously change. This character is definitely feels like they're a high ceiling character. Fun fact, they said this character is a 4-star, which is the equivalent of like Soul and some other characters. So they're supposed to be the second easiest difficulty in the game. I would definitely put them down to like a 3 at the highest, just because I think there's a little bit more you got to learn with this character, right? You got to learn a little bit more set play. They have some very unique movement options. They do have a DP on their side. Like I said, they do have a DP. This DP isn't the craziest. It is a DP, you know. A DP is better than no DP, but out of the DPs in the game, I don't think is one of like the best ones. It's probably like, I don't know, probably like second to worst maybe, but it is a DP nonetheless. You know, it doesn't cover like the craziest angle. It goes not always almost straight up. It has a diagonal to it. It doesn't give you, I mean, obviously a lot of DPs don't give you that much frame advantage or anything like that, but yeah, it is a DP nonetheless. It is invincible, so you can use that. A few more things I forgot to talk about when it came to actual yo-yo toss is you actually can use your air special moves and stuff too. So they do have a Roger move they could use, which is this right here. So you can actually use the momentum of this to actually go over to the other side. I've been using this quite a bit. It actually catches a lot of people, and of course you can just RC it for a combo from there as well. And you can also use your air dash off of it. So because you can air dash back, you should definitely be able to air dash forward, which you can. And of course, you can use that off the hit itself. So you can use that for, like, you know, not a double overhead, because this part isn't overhead, but you could use this before that so you can sort of delay when you're actually going to do it. It probably throw off somebody's like fuzzy timing and stuff like that. You know, just more ways to try to break your opponent guard when you actually go for some of these mix-ups that Bridget can do on the knockdown. So the other thing that I think that isn't helping Bridget's average low damage that we are seeing on this day one when it comes to like their basic confirms and stuff like that, outside of like when they have the set play, these are like when they actually get good damage. But I'm saying like when they're actually just hitting you in neutral, right? The straight hits before they actually get to the set play, or sometimes you don't even get to the set play because you're not getting a knockdown. You're just doing these like straight hits in neutral, right? So you're getting hits like that. This is where their damage is not going to be the highest. So like a common Bridget confirm that you'll see a lot is something like this into something like this, and then you roll up like this. This is plus, so you can't actually roll up like this. This is something you can take your turn on and you can do that. So yeah, I already tested it. This is something that like can't be thrown and stuff like that. So you can definitely do stuff like this as well. This is going to be something you can do, but just look at the damage that you're getting from like a confirm like this. Not the craziest. And once again, this is on Bridget, who essentially has the third lowest life in the game, right? So not very much damage from the confirms that you're getting here, and you're also not getting very good knockdown. So like a lot of moves you into combos with, like that move right there, or this move that we're just showing, doesn't really have good knockdowns. Now you can luckily use this to sort of get to them like that. Once again, this is not going to be a hard knockdown, but it is a way to get over there, because it's essentially all you can pretty much do. Like you could, I guess, end it a little bit early like that and then sort of get it like that. That's another way you could do it if you want to. So you could change it up in a couple of different ways, but overall the damage is not going to be the highest, even when they are getting somewhat, say like some counter hits. Some of the counter hits that this character get are just not going to be of the caliber that you would think from a counter hit. For example, even if you were to stagger into a counter hit for Bridget's heavy slash, you don't really get much off of this outside of something like this, right? There's not much that connects. Like 5P doesn't connect, as you can see. 5K doesn't connect. Maybe 2K, which is our fastest button, I believe, at 6 frames, that doesn't even connect. So it's like, it's not much you could do. You kind of just got to go into the normal thing that you would normally do here, right? So yeah, this is basically the base of what you'll be looking at. Something like that. So her best two counter hits, I definitely feel, are going to be this 2H for sure, because this allows you to actually do sort of these combos. So you could actually go into this, into something like this, and actually, you know, get something started from there. So you can actually make combos happen from that, which is nice, right? You can use the yo-yo in the combo itself. So this is the one time you can actually get like these meterless yo-yo combos that happen. So yeah, you can make those happen from there as well. And off 6H, I think the 6H one is mainly in the corner, so I think that one is probably going to be something for corner wise. But the 6H is definitely very good as well, because it gives you that. But you could also get stuff mid-screen, because also it gives you the close slash, but you're not going to get that full yo-yo opportunity like I was talking about. But you could definitely get a juggle opportunity and get a combo from that. So you could definitely get stuff both off 6H and the 2H, which is definitely going to be her best counter hits when it comes to her counter hit stuff. Mainly, the main things you're going to be doing are going to be, you know, if you're up close, you're going to be doing something like this. If you happen to get that hit, and then you'll do something like this. You have to delay it like that. Yeah, that's the gist of like the main things that you'll see from like your main hits when you're hitting with close sides and stuff like that with this character. And it's like I said, her conversions aren't the highest damage, and I think that's one of the things that a few people are just taking note of early on. So yeah, that's not necessarily to say she's bad. It's just pointing out some of the strengths and the weaknesses of the character. The character obviously got some very strong points. They have some really good set play, and it loops into itself. They got some very good buttons. The buttons are okay, even though they got, you know, some hitbox or hurt boxes on them, and they have very good movement inside of the neutral. They're very tricky to pinpoint exactly where they're going to move. So they got some nice things going for them. But there's also some, you know, caveats, as most characters are going to be like. So yeah, these are my first impressions for Bridget. Like I said, I think they're going to be a pretty decent character. I've been having some people already ask me for like their tier list placement. Way too early for that. Like I said, very high ceiling character I believe they're going to be. So expect them to definitely rise as far as how much tech people put on board once people start figuring out this character a little bit more. As always, down in the comments below, let me know how you guys are feeling about Bridget. Also, let me know down in the comments below what else you want to see me put out for Bridget. Do you guys want to see combo guides or gameplay and stuff like that? We can definitely do all sorts of type of things with this character. Just let me know down in the comments below. Anyway, if you like anything I had to say, drop me a like. I really appreciate it. And if you want more from me, follow my socials. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn notifications so the next video goes live. As always, my name is Dyken, and I'll see you next time. Signing out.